My name is Emmanuel Pelacucha. This is my colleague Leah Kreisberg, and this is my colleague Catherine Machino. And we are the ELK group, here to tell you about our plans for Monsanto's philanthropic activities in Ghana.
The one down.
And split back the flash. If you take it out and put it back, it will activate. Out and then.
Oh, it's frozen per se. It's not even working. It's It happened so much.
Breathe.
I like your visual.
Also, I pronounced your last name wrong, so sorry. Yeah, try to change that. Okay, good afternoon, Monsanto executives. My name is Emmanuel Pelacucha. This is my colleague Leah Kreisberg, and this is my colleague Catherine Machino. And we are the ELK group, here to tell you about our vision for Monsanto's philanthropic engagement in Ghana. In the United States, there's approximately 350 million acres of land allocated for farming. This gives each individual farmer about 434 acres, which is equivalent to 434 football fields. In contrast, farmers in Ghana only have about 5 to 6 acres of land, which is what they stake not only their income on, but the food that they grow to provide for their family. And most people don't even have this much land. Women have an additional disadvantage because for every 2 acres that a man has, a woman only has 1. So we see several issues with this fact. First, the productivity of land, as far as the ability for these farmers to produce sufficient crops to fulfill their needs, like food for their family and providing an income. Also, access to land, especially with the inequality that women face in accessing land compared to men. This is especially important because agriculture employs about 50% of the citizens of Ghana. So we have a vision for Monsanto. Based on other companies who have engaged in philanthropic activities abroad, such as Walmart, we want to learn from their trial and errors and work with local organizations that have pre-existing projects in order to forward what we believe needs to be done in Ghana. This plan, not only this integrated strategy, not only will improve public perception, but we also believe it'll create the foundation of trust that is needed between the citizens of Ghana and Monsanto before we can make any further steps in forwarding any business interests of any sort. This trust that doesn't exist is from the Plant Breeders Bill, which has been nicknamed Monsanto's Law by the citizens because of their opposition, and I'd be happy to address that later. And I'm now going to turn it over to Catherine, who's going to tell you more about the projects we want to pursue to build this trust.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So due to the problems that we see in Ghana and the opportunities that we see for our company, our project plan consists first of implementing irrigation systems and second, providing bicycles to women. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth about the first recommendation. So how we're going to do this. First, we're going to partner with USAID because they have a lot of resources, data, international information that will be necessary for us as we enter this country to help these people. We're also going to partner with IFPRI, which is the International Food Policy Research Institute. They currently have a program in Ghana called the Impact of Irrigation on Agriculture, Nutrition, Health, and Women's Empowerment. And it's working to bring motor pumps in to replace hand pumps that the people use to get their water. So what we're going to do is use Monsanto's resources and funds to implement better water extraction technologies by helping construct and set up these motor pumps. We're going to be doing this starting in the Upper East region of Ghana because we see that it is the most poor, vulnerable, and food insecure. So we think that they are in the most need of our help. So the reasons why we're going to be improving irrigation, first is going to increase crop diversification because with better water irrigation systems, the farmers will be able to not only produce food for themselves, but more types of food. So with that, there'll be an increase in cash crops. so they'll be able to produce food to sell and exchange with other regions and communities, which will hopefully stimulate the economy in the future. And it will also improve the water supply. So right now, specifically in the Upper East region, there's about 2,000 hand pumps that they use to get their water and a handful of handmade wells. So it's not very efficient. Sometimes they're very contaminated. So by improving the irrigation system, we will be more efficiently bringing water to these farms. Finally, it will empower women because women often are stuck having to travel hours and days to collect water for their jobs. And through this improved system, that time will decrease, so they'll have more power and freedom to do other things like more farming, producing more foods. So now I'm going to pass it off to Leah, and she's going to talk more about how we're going to engage women.
So to address the issue of access to land and inequality, we, through research, saw that a big reason for this disparity of access to land between men and women is simply because men are able to get to the land more easily. A common mode of transportation in Ghana is bicycles, and more men than women own bicycles. So we're going to partner with the Village Bicycle Project to come in and support women in getting them bicycles so they can also join the men and get to the fields more easily. So the Village Bicycle Project is a great organization because it employs locals and trains men, women, and children on how to ride the bicycles. This stimulates the local economy and allows men and women to get to the fields producing food for themselves and producing food to sell. So this is Kipo. She's 11 years old and she's had a great experience with the Village Bicycle Project. She has found that riding her bike saves her time. Instead of having to walk 2 miles to school every day, she can ride her bike. This leaves more time for her schoolwork, for her chores, and for making money at a job. In addition, this grants her independence. In this area, mobility equals independence, and having a bike makes a huge difference. In addition, she has more energy. Many women live miles away from the field, and having to walk all that way to work isn't feasible, and it's a huge burden because they have a lot of other responsibilities. In addition, it's fun. The Village Bicycle Project has great testimonies and has proven to be really successful in local communities and already has great established ties. So now we're going to go over the timeline for the implementation of these projects. So for the first year, we would like to see 2,000 motor pumps installed to replace the hand pumps that aren't working. For bicycles, we would like to see 20,000 bicycles in the first year and $18,000 worth of training, which includes one-day workshops where people will learn how to use the bikes. In the second year, we would like to see double the amount of motor pumps installed in the eastern region, and everyone in the eastern region covered with bicycles and fully trained. So now Catherine's just going to go over the projects.
So just to summarize, we will be addressing lack of productivity in the fields and lack of access to land in the Upper East region of Ghana. So we are first going to be implementing irrigation systems through our partnership with USAID and IFPRI to set up these motor pumps, which will replace the hand pumps that currently exist. We will also be providing bicycles to women through the partnership with the Village Bicycle Project. I'm now going to pass it off to Emmanuel, who's going to talk about our next steps and our long-term goals.
We apologize about this, by the way. When it was transferred to the USB, this got messed up. It's supposed to be transparent, but we know what we want to do, so now it's a matter of how we're going to do it. And as Catherine stated, that starts with forging our relationships with USAID and the local organizations that we want to partner with. Besides that, it's about establishing that trust with the community. But it's not enough to look at that 1-year, 2-year goals in the short term. We also want to focus on the long term. So this first point is expand to new regions in Ghana. Our next focus after the Upper East region would be the Upper West region and the Northern region of Ghana, both of which are extremely vulnerable as well. After that, we would just like to reiterate that we want to advance the trust with the communities, because until we do that, we cannot take any further steps. Our next step after that would be to introduce Monsanto seed products. We do believe that it's important to have a vested interest in this for some benefit other than just the philanthropy, and we think we can incorporate it into our business plan by eventually implementing these seed products such as our drought-resistant seeds or the seeds that are not as sensitive to climate change. But before we can make those steps, we need to know that there is trust in the community in Monsanto. And we believe very strongly in these programs, and we think that they can really benefit our company, and we hope you feel the same way. Thank you. Any questions?
So, bicycles and motor pumps versus hand pumps require an intense amount of repairs and maintenance and supply parts and all of that. So how does that fit in to what you guys have planned?
Well, as for the bicycles, that's all part of the Village Bicycle Program. Local people are employed to deal with repairs and maintenance, so that's all a part of that.
For the irrigation, so by establishing this relationship with the IFPRI, they already have this program. So our thinking was that a lot of these external things that we'll have to deal with, in addition to just setting up the pumps, we can handle by working through them because they've already started this process.
Don't they have hand pumps because they don't have electricity? And how do you get the electricity in to run the motorized pumps?
So we, again, going along with what he just asked, we plan to utilize the resources and the information that IFPRI has already worked on to kind of combat those issues that we will be facing.
You need power plants to get the
Right,
electricity.
so
You
there's
need lines and all that, big infrastructure.
Yeah, just to reiterate, the main purpose of what we want to do is to engage with pre-existing programs and local organizations that already have a plan in place and an idea of what they want to accomplish. So through our collaboration with the IRFPI, we want to work out those kinks with them. We believe that they will have a foundation, a plan of what they envision to begin with, and we'll help them take it to the next step and work out those types of details that may not be fully worked out, but it is with the assumption that these organizations already have the basics in mind, because this is a project that has already been, the beginnings of it have been implemented.
At the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned that this was a philanthropic approach. So are you expecting the funding of this to be done through the Monsanto Fund or through Monsanto Corporation?
Through the corporation, because, right now we've researched and there's about $41 million globally for philanthropy through the Monsanto company, and we want to allocate some of those funds into Ghana because we see value there.
Not through the fund, as a charitable contribution to the corporation?
It would be from the fund that is already being allocated towards philanthropy, but we would just be taking a chunk of that and redirecting it towards this. What I meant by as a philanthropic endeavor is that when we first go in, we don't want it to be like pushing our products on them right away, because we know that working with the local communities is important, and that's not what the people want right away. So we want to make it focused on just charity at first, even regardless of where the money is coming from, just that idea of helping them to improve their situation and then eventually transitioning it into the implementation of our products when we can truly show them that they can trust us and these products will benefit them. But as far as the fund versus the corporation, it would just be coming from the money that has already been allocated towards.
You have to be a little concerned about self-dealing,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. And that is one of the reasons why we would, as Catherine said, gear it more towards the corporation money, because that wouldn't, if it was the fund.
No, you only get to choose one. It's either direct from the corporation or from the fund.
Right, the money is from the corporation. It's part of the profits that are allocated towards philanthropy.
So the fund is not a foundation?
No. Sorry.
I've asked everyone else who hasn't put the number up there, what's it going to cost?
So right now we are allocating $1.5 million. So the breakdown is about $300 per pump. So 1.2 million for the pumps, and then the additional 300,000 for bicycle costs, and additional costs that will come with the irrigation systems. We want to start small because, again, we're emphasizing that trusting that we're trying to build, and then hopefully expand as we go forward.
So you're not including any money for generators or the solution to solve the
Yeah, so at this time, not specifically, because again, we hope that the IFPRI will help us more with those details.
Don't you think irrigation is a sign that folk are growing the wrong crops? That it's not appropriate to that area?
That's definitely a consideration, but once again, the assumption that we're operating off of slightly is that because there's already a program in place, directed towards irrigation. Plus, as the points that Catherine has touched on earlier about the benefits of better irrigation, we believe that this would be a beneficial program to them, and I think Catherine could expand on that.
Well, we hope that by better irrigation systems and eventually incorporating more regions are going to be growing different things. If, say, the southern region grows one thing better than the northern, then trade is increasing, the economy is increasing. So, yes, the future has to become part of the plan, but we see diversification as an important part of it and something that will happen.
And the one thing I was confused about with your bicycle program is whether you said that women had less land because they couldn't get to the fields. Is that they owned less land because of the lack of mobility? Is that what you're saying?
It's kind of a combination of issues. So more men own land than women. A lot of women also work with their husbands in the field. But most women will stay at home and take care of the children, are more in charge of the food marketing in Ghana. But we want to make sure that women are also getting out into the fields and have the opportunity to go buy land. So we are thinking that if women have bicycles and have the opportunity to actually get to the fields, then they will be more empowered to buy land themselves rather than work with their husbands.
How will the Ghanaian women know that these bikes came from Monsanto?
Yeah, we plan to start small scale, so we do hope to have really good local ties. That's really important to us in this project. So we hope that they will see an influx of bikes, and we'll be able to see that this is coming from another source, and we're hoping that it will make a big impact on the community that's really visible.
Going off of that, we do want to emphasize that although our proposals have been geared towards partnering with these organizations and its funding, we want to have a presence and we want to have engagement with the community. So as Leah is saying, we will do what it takes to show the community that it is coming from Monsanto. The details of that, I think, would depend upon the Village Bike Project because it is their project, but we wouldn't just want to be a behind-the-scenes funder. We would want to be engaged and involved in the community and in the project.
Definitely, because a major aspect is reversing that public perception. That's something we can't ignore. So we definitely want to get the name out there and let the people know that we're working to build this trust and be transparent about our past.
How do you get people to make the jump to the fact that you've got GMO seeds and you want them to use those when there's a very anti-GMO approach to things?
Well, the seeds that we had suggested, as far as the climate-resistant ones, there are other alternatives to products that we can begin to implement. There are non-GMO vegetable seeds that Monsanto produces that we also could see being beneficial. Obviously, the one we noted, as far as climate-resistant, would be the most beneficial in a region where drought does affect the crops, but we would start in whatever way we could to show that our products could help. And it starts with the trust, and then after that, we could ease in with the non-GMO vegetable products, and eventually, when we can truly show why the GMO products could benefit them even further, possibly when their economy has grown and when people have become more involved, we're hoping that that's the path it could take.
If there are no more questions.